Roussianos, and this way, isn't it? My partner in crime.
No, the other way. I don't know. Hi, I'm Adaire Palmer.
And welcome to the show with no name, ellipsis, yet. Does that work? Yeah. So this is a show where we help not-for-profits, community organisations and charities and people doing amazing things in the community share their stuff, share their story, raise awareness, raise their brand awareness, and whatever it is that they might be, for whatever it is that they might be doing at the moment or, in the future. Because if people aren't talking about what you're doing, who's going to find out about it?
I love it. And we've talked to some amazing people alive and kicking in the 70s. If you haven't heard of Mark Holden, you must have been living under a rock. We are honoured to have Mark join us. He's an Australian singer, actor, TV personality, record producer, songwriter, and just to top it off, barrister. He was a pop star in the 1970s and had 4 top 20 hit singles. He regularly appeared on national pop music show Countdown. Mark is remembered for his clean-cut image, his white dinner suit, and his penchant for, I can't even pronounce that word, and his for handing out red carnations. And no product placement needed. We'll talk about that after. He's handing out carnations to girls on the set of the popular television show Countdown, and he was nicknamed the Carnation Kid. In the 1980s, he worked as a songwriter in Los Angeles, providing material recorded by Meatloaf, Joe Cocker, Gladys Knight, Bob Welch, and Steve Jones. He was one of the 3 original judges on the TV series Australian Idol and on the first season of the X Factor. Mark has we're so grateful that Mark has offered his time and talents to Rotary to help us raise funds for ROMAC, which is the Rotary Oceanic Medical Aid for Children. Welcome, Mark.
I know, what a CV. The show's almost over.
That was a potted version.
I think I need to adjust Wikipedia. I think some of those songwriting credits were not exactly right. I never wrote for Meatloaf, unfortunately. And I never, but I did write for the Temptations, and I did write for Donny Osmond, and the Steve Jones was the Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols. And I know, so it's very odd to have worked with Donny Osmond and Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols.
So the point of the story is, when you're introducing someone, check your facts before you just ramble off Wikipedia.
I got them from Wikipedia because I didn't want to bother Mark. But this is
if it's on the internet, it must be true.
This is what you call LOL, learning out loud, and it's really interesting. We're going to have not a huge conversation about Wikipedia, but generally speaking, Wikipedia is pretty well known, and I donate to Wiki as well because I think it's actually a great opportunity to have, an online resource that everybody can tap into for free. So I'll stick up for it, and then Mark, you need to get over to Wikipedia and change those facts. So now we've got some people here who have jumped in. We've got Tracy who's saying hi, Mark.
Hi, Tracy.
And you are a favourite on Countdown for her. So she's.
God bless, thanks, Casey.
Is this out?
I love Countdown. Countdown is, and I still love Countdown. I happened to be not too long ago at Hamer Hall looking at the Holden Brothers Travelling Circus had a display in Hamer Hall around some of the memorabilia from the 19th, 20th century, and then the woman that was showing it to me took me over to the vault, which is a new kind of what would you call it, like a Hall of Fame sort of thing. It's in the Art Centre in Melbourne. It's really fabulous. And it's a brand new display. And she took me into this room, which was a big room with video being played on each wall. And it was Sunbury, and it was the Seekers at the Music Bowl, and then they played Countdown, and it was me on Countdown. I was so stoked to the old Holdens from the 19th century in Hamer Hall and the 70s Holden in the vault in the art centre. It was quite a special moment, to be honest.
So are they going to be adding anything from the greatest show on earth, the cabaret? So you haven't finished yet, by the sound of it.
No, I just launched my show, The Greatest Show on Earth, at the Adelaide Cabaret Festival, and it was just fabulous. I loved it. You know, I loved being able to perform it. I loved being at the Adelaide Cabaret Festival. The Adelaide Cabaret Festival is run beautifully. It's you know, the art centre in Adelaide was a place that well, actually it's called Festival Theatre, and I played there for my one time as a that's a notification. Sorry, I've got to figure out. But what I was to say is that I played in that big room at Festival Centre in the Cabaret Festival for the gala. And the last time I was there was when I was like 24 and I was a pop star, and there were 2,000 screaming girls there, and my grandmother.
2,000 screaming girls and your grandmother.
And my grandmother was probably the age I am now.
Oh my God, that's gold.
And she was a Methodist, a strict Methodist, and she must have just been horrified at what she saw, because it was 2014, 15, 16-year-old girls screaming, and my act basically consisted of coming on in a suit and then gradually taking the suit off.
That's hilarious. So how did Grandma cope with that?
At the time, I didn't give it any thought, but when I was there this time, when I was her age, and thinking back to who she was, I just can imagine she was just mortified. rather than being thrilled at seeing her grandson's star turn, she would have been mortified. It would have been everything that the Prospect North Methodists would have been against.
I grew up in a Methodist
wondering
house.
where those red carnations are leading, hey?
Yes, exactly.
And I grew up in the Methodist household too, Mark, so I do understand. And I forgot to mention also that you are a native Adelaide boy as well. Tracy Ann saying she's sure she was very proud of you, and Glenn is here saying good morning.
Hey, good morning.
So can I ask?
Glenn has been an integral part of what we're doing with Rotary and Romac, because Glenn was the first cold call that I made, and just to see if there would be any interest in doing what we've actually achieved. Really, we've already achieved it. We've done the lion's share of the work. We've got it together. What's happening?
I can't see the comments, so you look like you're laughing at yourself.
Going to tell where your Mark Holden poster was placed in your room all those years ago.
Can I tell
On
that
her
story?
ceiling.
Go ahead.
Shut up, Theonie. This is my story. I think you've already told me.
It's my laugh. Your story, my laugh.
Hello. Well, let me share that with you, because I absolutely was a fan in the 70s when if I was at Festival Theatre, I would have been one of those 14 or 15-year-old screaming girls as well. I had this massive poster that came out of Dolly magazine, and it wasn't abuse. Sorry, Mark, it wasn't you. It was David Cassidy. And he took pride of place directly above my head on the ceiling, because I slept in like a little sleep out on the top story of our 2-story home. So I got a staple gun and I stapled David Cassidy to the ceiling. But in the TV week, do you remember the TV week? And they put out a poster of you with your red carnation, and you had your cricket bottoms on with the suspenders, and that was it.
Yes.
And that was an A4 size poster. That was next to David Cassidy.
That's
just like soft porn in the TV week.
So I wake up every morning and I look at David Cassidy, and then I look at Mark Holden.
Don't say anymore.
underneath you, I think Susie Quattro was up there as well.
Show Adaire.
All
What
right,
would your
friends.
16-year-old self think if she knew that you'd be sitting here interacting, talking to, have his phone number today?
No, I'd tell you, she would not have believed it. She would have gone, country girl from rural South Australia. No way.
Whereabouts in rural South Australia?
I was born in Riverton and grew up in Saddleworth and the Clare Valley.
Oh, beautiful. Lovely.
Yeah. Tracy's saying manifesting at its best. I'm getting goosebumps here. Now, you were born in Glenelg, weren't you? Somerton Park, you grew up.
Somerton Park, yeah. Not really Glenelg. Glenelg was the next one along. But I was a Glenelg supporter.
So you supported the suburb?
Adaire, for your information, that's a football team.
Oh, thank you for clarifying.
Correct.
Michelle's here as well, and Cheryl's saying
the Osmonds. Well, I can tell you, I worked with Donnie, and Donnie was such a lovely man. And we recorded some songs for an album he did called Soldier of Love. And it was his comeback album. It must have been either the 80s or the 90s or something. And he was just a really lovely guy. I really liked Donnie. And I related to him too. I mean, I related to him in the sense that we'd both been through that, pop thing, but his was global and his was a family thing. And he was a superstar, but I believe he's still married to the girl that he was married to when I knew him, and he's got a bunch of kids. And the other thing is, we both did Joseph together. I did Joseph's Colour Dreamcoat, and years later Donnie did it. I think he did it in Chicago. I did it in Sydney, and but Donnie was a fabulous singer as well. I mean, he's truly, Donnie is a really fabulous singer. He's got a great voice.
Oh,
yes.
We've got April. Yeah. April's our favourite net friender from she's in the US. She says there's a pic attached there from you from back in the day, and she remembers Soldier of Love in the 80s. Yeah.
No, it was a hit for him. He had a hit album, and that sort of was one of his many comebacks, But I can just testify that he was just one of the loveliest people, full stop. Just a great guy to work with, just really lovely.
That's fantastic. So for people in South Australia, just comment, Mark, even if you're not in South Australia, you can support us. Rotary is an international organisation. And comment, Mark, and then there's tickets. Let's go into the event, because we've been talking a lot about some of the history, Mark. Share with us about what's happening across South Australia.
What we're doing is we're doing the Rotary Romac Touchdown, which Adaire named it that, and I think that's or Romac Rotary Touchdown. It's the other way around. And what it is that I'm going to drive to from Melbourne to Mount Gambier and do Mount Gambier first on August the 22nd, and I think it's the Italian Club in Mount Gambier. And Catherine's organising that. She's running it out of Rotary in Mount Gambier. And what it is that's the first of the series of events. And then I'm doing Port Noarlunga with which Theonie is organising. And then I'm doing a Teachery Gully, which Glenn and you guys are involved with. And then Port Pirie, which a guy called Graham is organising with Barry Mudge. And then I'm doing on the 28th. Well, that's so the 22nd is Mount Gambier. The Friday, is that the 24th? Yeah, the 24th is Noarlunga, which is at a winery, St Francis Winery, and then Dimples with on the Saturday night with Teachery Gully, and then Sunday is Port Pirie. It's in the afternoon, but I don't exactly know. It's organised, but if Graham could let me know what the actual location, or let us know what the actual location of it is, That would be great. And Port Lincoln have just come on board for August the 28th, and that's more or less a full. That's more. I can't do any more because then I start the
factoring,
which is
factoring in travel time. Factoring in travel time, you're not really giving yourself much time for anything else.
No, but my wife's going to come with me, and we'll drive, and we'll have our little dog, and we won't drive to Port Lincoln. We'll fly to Port Lincoln, and hopefully we can take the little dog on the plane, but probably not on the baggage.
What's your dog?
She's a rescue dog. She's about 18 months old now. She's a little Chihuahua.
Oh, I reckon Tracy might need to speak to you.
Yes.
On Piffer. That's another story for another day, but we do need to connect you with someone else.
Cheryl's saying thank you for that. We were in such an incredible time of life. Thank you for being part of it. Yes.
This is an incredible time of life.
Every time of life is an incredible time of life. Yes.
I'm with you. But Countdown is the gift that keeps on giving. I'm very grateful for Countdown because they keep playing it as well.
I know.
Yeah.
And have grey hair. And then have dark hair.
Yeah, Countdown, I'm a little bit younger, but Countdown was still a huge part of my upbringing as well because I have a sister who's 11 years older than me. And so I had to watch and listen to everything she was watching and listening to. And, you know, to this day, because of her, I actually don't like Spandau Ballet because I think she just played them to death.
Let's get back to this. Jenny, I love this. Confessions of middle-aged teenage girls.
That's show.
That's incredible. I actually remember that, Jenny. I've got a copy of it somewhere, of that card. Yeah, with that was it. That was my act. You know, I'd start in the full suit and I'd end up shirtless on an exercise bike.
That is gold. That is absolute gold. So if you are in South Australia, you are interested in coming along to one of these events, you'll be able to catch up with an Australian icon, and as you can see, very personable, and I'm sure that you'll be able to speak to as many people as you can connect with. There's venues,
and we'll be raising money for ROMAC, and ROMAC in this instance is it a subset of Rotary? Is that what you say? What is it? How does he actually describe it?
Well, it's part of Rotary, like Rotaract and Interact, like they're all part under the umbrella, as far as I understand it. So.
But it's like a distinct kind of part of Rotary that raises money for a particular purpose, and that is to bring kids from the Oceania region to Australia for life-saving medical help. And it's the 30th anniversary of ROMAC. So ROMAC in Australia has been doing this for 30 years now, which is fantastic.
It is fantastic, and we are absolutely grateful that you've donated your time and talents to help us with Rotary and ROMAC to raise funds for this is just brilliant. So I do have if you want to know how to join Rotary, just send me a message. Just PM me and we'll point you in the right direction. And what's this? Glenn's saying there's nothing wrong with your pipes. You sing amazingly.
He's talking to Mark Adaire, not you.
He hasn't heard me sing, obviously. No.
He's heard the stories. Your reputation precedes you. Don't worry.
A subsidiary.
Yes.
ROMAC is a subsidiary of Rotary. That's what he's saying.
Yes.
So remember to comment Mark below so you get a message directly into your inbox with respect to the Tea Tree Gully event. And is it the Port Noarlunga event, Adaire, that's attached to that as well?
It's the Noarlunga and Morphett Vale. I believe the Morphett Vale Rotary or Noarlunga Rotary are joining forces to do something.
Yeah. And if you want information, so click that in, and then if you want information on any of the other events, because we didn't have, Adaire didn't have the links to be able to add them into that message. If you want to go to one of the other events, comment, and we'll let you know where it is and how to get tickets.
Yep.
Great. Yeah, we need to get those details from the guys. I'll work on that over the next, because it's going to come up really quickly. August the 20th is like 7 weeks away. 6 weeks.
Yeah, it is. Now we've got ticket sales moving quite well for Tea Tree Gully, and we're doing several different ways of, you know, sort of the different ways of promoting the events, both internally to Rotary and externally to the community, because we'd love to open it up and have more community members involved in coming along and seeing you, even for old time's sake, you know. And I know I've got a lot of school chums, I think, that I've reconnected with on Facebook that I'll be going, hey, now's your chance, girls. So bring your kind of...
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. And
know.
What I'm doing is I'm doing this in part because I'm retracing the steps that my forebears, because the show that I launched at the Cabaret Festival, which is called The Greatest Show on Earth, is about my family circus. That we had a circus called the Holden Brothers Travelling Circus that travelled. Their main route was from Geelong to Ceduna and back, you know, in horse and wagon. You know, I mean, it's unbelievable. So I'm essentially going on the same road as they did and visiting the towns that they visited, and doing my show after the Romac Rotary Touchdown. After that, I'll be doing my actual show. I'll be coming back to the same town. So I'm sort of retracing the steps of my forebears, you know, before my dementia kicks in, you know.
Oh, no, don't say that. We want to be throwing carnations at you for a long time yet, Mark.
Thank you, Adaire. And I do want to be throwing carnations for a bit longer, you know. And this is, you know, it's just great. I'll get to, you know, show my wife around. She's an American, and she's never been to Port Lincoln. We're very excited going to Port Lincoln. She's never seen Outback South Australia, and I mean, she's
in for a treat.
She is. No,
I love the Outback.
We've done the road from Melbourne to Adelaide many times, of course, but she will never. We've never gone past Adelaide, you know. So that's going to be great for her. And just a little thing here. Look at this. This is Judith.
Hang on, I'll just put you on. What's that say? Judith Durham. Durham, dear Mark. Oh, look at that. That's gorgeous.
That's Judith Durham. She turned 75. I went to her birthday party this week. Judith from the Seekers, the beautiful Judith Durham, who is such an amazing, lovely, fabulous person. And I put an album together for her, which came out this week, and we celebrated, and we had a vegan cake for her 75th birthday, and it was really, really, really lovely. And she gave me a signed copy from Judith, and so that was the highlight of my week. That was really good.
That's beautiful. So
speaking of albums, that's a perfect segue.
Yes,
you have also put out, and
I haven't put out. I've only
made it.
No, I haven't put it out because it's not. It's only for Rotary. I thought I had one right here, and I've misplaced it.
I've got mine's in the car. I've actually been listening to it. So if you want to purchase, if you want a copy of Mark's CD, so these are previously unreleased tracks that were written back in the 80s. Am I right?
That's right. Let me just.
I think my son's taken mine.
Mine's in the car.
He said, Mark, he says to me, if I grow my hair long, there we are, beautiful. The Lost 80s album.
What it is that I'm giving each club 50 copies. And I'm not releasing this at this point. This is just something I've put together just for this Rotary Romac touchdown event, so that each club will have 50.
Exciting. Oh.
There we go. I know it's better lighting in your place.
Hubby's just brought it in. Thank
you, so each club can have 50 copies that they can sell to raise money and just keep the money for Romac. So that's
That's
I'm
brilliant.
feeling a little bit of FOMO here. I don't have my own stage hand to hand me stuff when I need it.
I just, you might be grateful for that. You know what happened last time? We nearly saw your husband's belly button. We won't go there. Well, so here we go. There we go. I just want you to have a look at, shout out to my son, Darty Ike Palmer. He says to me, if I grow my hair long, will it look like that? And I said, do you really want a mullet? And he said, yes. He said, I want the guitar more. So you have a fan.
That's funny.
I thought he'd actually taken it, and it was in there. That's why my husband's bought it.
What it is, it's a bunch of songs that I wrote in the 80s when I lived in Los Angeles, and I recorded them, but I never, they were really for pitching. Like one of them was recorded by Bob Welch from Fleetwood Mac. A couple of them were recorded by David Hasselhoff. I mean, they were songs that ended up being recorded by other people. But when I was making them, I did a version just for me, and I kept the version just for me, and I've never had a reason to put them out, and so that's what they are. And you know, some of them are, I mean, they're really lovely records in a lot of ways. Oh, there's one that the Temptations did. I'm seeing here now. Yeah, there's a so they're really cool, and I love them, and so it's just it's a very special just little thing that's just for this little in crowd.
And so the only way to get your hands on one of those CDs is to attend one of the events.
Correct.
To get your hands on one of these, get your butts to an event. So
that's right. And we have five locations. And the Alan, God bless Alan. Alan has been so fantastic. Alan was approached by Whyalla, and the Whyalla Rotary wanted to add an event, but it's just, unfortunately, it's just, I can't do any more at the moment because my shows start at that point. And so we've got 5 locked in. And I think we've done a great job, and thank you to everybody that's been a part of locking in 5 events, and that's this run.
Okay, so that's just a couple of things. Jenny's saying she'll have to buy a copy to go with my Encounter album, which you signed for her, Mark. So Jenny, if you're in South Australia, get yourself a ticket to one of the shows. The locations are above, but if you want, just comment Mark and you'll be able to find out more about purchasing your tickets. So very, very reasonably priced. And Mark, I'm sure we're nearly out of time, but there's a couple more things I did want to go over. I'd love for Theonie to share her story that happened recently about people finding out more about Rotary. And Mark, if you could give us a 30-second synopsis about the sorts of stuff that you'll actually be sharing with people live when you attend the events and headline the events. So Theonie, you go first and we'll finish up with Mark.
Yeah, for sure. So this is just the power of social media. We keep talking about sharing, and in the business community that Adaire and I are involved with, we keep saying, you know, share not your stuff. You don't want to be really salesy, but just because people aren't commenting, sharing, liking, reacting to any of your posts doesn't mean they're not watching. Because I have a friend that I went to school with, a wonderful Kath Rimmer. She sent me a message last night, which I saw this morning. She thought that I was a Rotarian because of the events and things, posts and things that I've shared surrounding this event. And she may have also seen the video of the talk that I gave to Rotary a couple of months ago. And I'm not a Rotarian, but I'm just helping out with this event just because Adaire said, do you want to help? And I said, why not? Now, she sent me a message saying that one of her friends, so she lives over in the eastern states, and she's got friends over there who are joining Rotary but moving to Adelaide, and she thought it was really cool to be able to say, one of my friends I went to school with is a Rotarian, lives in Adelaide. I'll connect you with her, and she can, you know, put you in touch with clubs and whatever, because depending on where they're going to live, obviously, on which club that they're going to want to connect with. And now I'm not a Rotarian, but obviously no one. and other people can connect them too. So it's just the power of sharing stuff, because you don't know who you're going to help. Just because your friends may not necessarily be reacting, they're still watching and they still know people that you can help or who can help you or whatever and connect you. So you need to share stuff. If you think that you know somebody who might be interested, share away.
Share away and invite people, and this is the whole thing about the social in social. So can I just Mark, tell us what we can expect? I know each show is going to be quite different and tailored to the needs and the expectations of the individual communities, but generally speaking, do we get some of these songs?
No, you won't get those songs, because that voice is gone, sadly. That's one of the things. That's pre-cancer. I've had cancer, and so I had bits of my neck chopped out, but no, I have a new voice, and my new voice is I'm enjoying my new voice, but I do sing. I will be singing some songs, and I can still sing. I just can't sing with that high voice that's on this thing. But no, I'll be telling stories. I'll be telling stories about my life in the circus and my show that I'm bringing to the SA Regional Road Show of the Adelaide Cabaret Festival. The Adelaide Cabaret Festival each year chooses an act to go out to the regions, having done the Cabaret Festival, so that the Cabaret Festival can come to the country. And this year it's me. So I'm going to be bringing I'll be on the Adelaide Cabaret Festival Roadshow in September. This is before that. So I'll talk about the circus, and I just look, you can't stop me talking once I start talking. So it's kind of a hangout, a conversation, some songs, and whatever the local each individual club wants to do in terms of fundraising. They might want to do, they might want to do other things. I don't know what each individual club will be doing in the course of the event. I know Port Pirie is going to have another act on. They're going to have a local artist on in the same event. It's a Sunday afternoon thing in Port Pirie. So that's nice. I'm looking forward to hearing a local artist. And,
beautiful.
Obviously at the St. Francis Winery, I'm sure it will involve wine.
It will involve wine, probably very good wine. Now,
yes.
We have to wind it up now, because we're a bit over time, and also Theonie and I have a net friending event that we run every Thursday morning over at Kidman Park at the La Vita restaurant.
One Thursday a month.
One Thursday a month. First Thursday.
You guys are fabulous.
We just don't stop. Before we go,
we're in good company.
we are, and we only attract the best. Can I ask you a favour? Now, this might seem weird because we are live broadcasting, but everybody loves live. Can I ask if we can put our faces up to the camera a little bit, and we'll all sit here and smile, and then I'm not going to take a screenshot. Okay, that's cool. But what that means is that when we actually watch it back, we can put it in theatre style, and we can take a screenshot of that and maybe use it for some thumbnails and things like that. So,
all right,
for repurposing, and anybody who's watching gets a bit of a chuckle. So, all right, Mark, thank you so much. It has been an absolute
Thank you
pleasure.
for your time.
Don't go anywhere. We'll just end the broadcast, and then we'll have a quick wind up with you afterwards. So
thank you everybody for joining us on the show with no name yet. If you can think of a name for our show, feel free to comment. If you think it's got a nice ring to it the way it is, we want to hear about that as well. And until next week, bye for now.
Bye for now. I'm Adaire Palmer, and she's there's Theonie. Bye.